You ready for this?
Oh yeah!
Let's get it. What is vibing? This is Vish, and today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Is Tamil culture being wiped out?
I'm a meditation coach and I've guided hundreds of people on their meditation journeys. If you want a one-on-one session with me, either message me on Instagram or comment down below. And today I'm here with Vish. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Vishruthi. I'm studying electrical and computer engineering at UT Austin, and I dance a lot. So I dance Bharatanatyam and Bhangra. So I'm super happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Sadhguru is a yogi, mystic, and visionary who's truly enlightening the world. So have you heard of Sadhguru before?
Yeah, so I think my parents are actually really into his teachings and followings. So.
Sweet. Have you watched a video or two?
Maybe briefly, but not really.
Well, let's get right into this one.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet.
This land, particularly Tamil Nadu, has been a land of devotion. The biggest names in Tamil Nadu are the great sages, saints and seers and siddhas, the Nayanmars, the Alvars, Avayar, many others. We count our history with sages and saints, not just with achievements of the kings. In this land of devotion, where devotion is the core, the heart of Tamil Nadu is devotion. In this land, many immensely beautiful temples were created. We first built the temple.
Those people.
I know.
We ourselves lived in shacks, small huts, it didn't matter, but a grand temple. Right now the problem is, I've been talking to so many people, if you say temple, they say revenue. It's very appropriate, because when East India Company took over the temples, they put the temples in the revenue department, most appropriate.
Wow.
Because they didn't come here out of their love for the deities for which we were willing to shed our life. They came here because of the revenue, the wealth, the gold, the diamonds, the land. Not love, not devotion, greed is the ruling force. Now we are still talking the same thing. If you say temple, you say revenue. If I say Kaveri, people say revenue. What about the revenue? I know I shouldn't be speaking this language, but because so many people are not getting it, I'm saying this, please listen. If I say your mother, will you say revenue?
No.
No.
If I say your wife, will you say revenue?
No.
If I say your children, will you say revenue?
Definitely not.
Then why is it when we say temple, you're saying revenue?
Very true. Wow, that was really interesting how he talked about how people usually think about money when associating themselves with the temple. And you have a Tamil background, right? Have you been to any temples in Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of temples in Tamil Nadu.
And what have your experiences been like from at least what Sadhguru is saying?
I personally don't know much about like the big temples in Tamil Nadu, but we go to like the small ones near.
Okay. What part of Tamil Nadu?
We're from like Chennai.
Okay.
That's still I don't
Okay.
even know like a very small part. It's actually near the beach. It's like called Besant Nagar.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you know, my parents and I have kind of had some discussions about these because when we, you know, choose to go to like Hindu Sunday school or things like that, they were very kind of cognizant of like picking Sunday schools or not like forcing us to go to Sunday schools where, you know, it was focused on, you know, like revenue and money because, you know, this kind of topic of revenue and stuff always like kind of comes into play when you're talking about like temples and stuff like this.
Yes.
And I think they really wanted to make clear for us that, you know, like this is like a place of worship and a place for you to connect with, you know, God. It's not really about the money or the revenue kind of part of it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And
Yeah.
it really just seems like they're trying to enforce the idea of devotion with you, right?
Right.
So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's get back into it.
Yeah.
It's shameful that we are talking about temples as revenue. It's not about revenue. It's not about land. Today when I say
Oh my God.
these temples should be in the hands of the devotees, some people say, why can't we take over the churches? Why can't we take over the mosques? Why can't we take over the Jain temples, gurudwaras? No, you should not touch the mosque, you should not touch the church, you should not touch the gurudwara or the Jain temple.
Yep.
Because there is one injustice. You don't have to multiply that.
Exactly. Facts.
Instead of solving the problem, you want to multiply the problem.
Yes.
Nobody has any right to take anybody's place of worship, whoever they are, whatever they believe in. If it means something to them, it means something to them, that's all.
Beautiful.
But in Tamil Nadu, 87% of the population, their places of worship, unfortunately, is in the hands of the government by default, not by intent, because the East India Company did it. What I am saying is, I'm talking about the fundamental rights of the citizens of India, and I'm talking about secularism, because in my understanding, to be secular means religion does not mess with the government does not mess with the religion. That's my idea of secularism.
Yes.
We must understand this. There's a profound science as to how these temples are built and above all, how they're consecrated. Here in Tamil Nadu, we have temples which have been consecrated by Agastya Muni, by Patanjali Maharishi, and many other sages and saints, particularly the 9 Mars. People think if they take a broom and sweep it, they're managing the temple. People think if they do 2 pujas, they're managing the temple. No, that is not the management of temple. There is much more intricate science involved in this. It is very important. This is in the hands of the devotees. It is very important that all of you should stand up to make this happen. It bleeds my heart to see that such great effort of the past, such sciences, such tremendous well-being that it brought to this culture, which left us in prosperity, that left us in various levels of scientific development, and above all, a culture which lived exuberantly. Today, we are in a process of decay. The UNESCO, oh, look at these guys, they've all come prepared.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh, that's
Okay.
good. Yes, and it's all Tamil?
Yeah, I guess so. I can't read.
Okay, okay.
But wow, that's a lot of support.
Yeah, absolutely. The energy too, which is great.
I want everybody to see this, wherever you are in this country. This is what people feel, the soul of Tamil Nadu. This is how they feel. We are not protesters, we are not agitators. We are not protesters, we are not agitators, we are anguished, we are pained. So all these people who are raising their support with these banners, these are not agitators. We will not block roads, we will not block trains, we will not cause inconvenience to others. But as responsible citizens of this state, when the state is going for election, we are expressing our anguish. Please listen.
Yes.
Every one of you who's standing for election, please listen.
Wow, that was a beautiful video about a very important subject. What did you think, Vishruthi?
I think it was so cool to kind of see so many people like gathering together and kind of showing their support for this important cause. I personally did not know much about the issue, so I was really excited to kind of learn about this issue and hopefully help and do whatever we can to help.
Awesome. And having a Tamil background yourself, was there anything that you could relate to with what he talked about?
Yeah, so Tamil Nadu is very, very rich in culture. So ever since we've been brought up and been visiting Tamil Nadu as like young children, we've always been taught by our grandparents and our parents that you know, there's so much culture here and everything.
Right.
But as modernization and westernization happens, there's a lot of things with like, you know, like he said, revenue and profits and like how can we make money off of it.
Yes.
So it kind of takes away from like the values and kind of like the culture that we want to embrace. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful perspective on this topic, and it's really cool to see that personal connection to this whole video, and so thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And so just yet another beautiful video by Sadhguru, and what I really applaud about him is the fact that he's a spiritual guru, but he gets involved with things that matter to the world, right?
Yes.
So whether it's social issues, whether it's environmental issues, all sorts of things that really matter to the people, he doesn't stop short of doing anything. He always tries to get involved and help raise and support in a very conscious manner, which is really nice. As he says, he's not protesting on the streets or causing any sort of havoc. He's raising awareness, and the most beautiful thing about this is the fact that he's really emphasizing the voting, which is really huge. He's actually mentioned this in other videos, which is whether you like the president or you don't like the president, at the end we must all accept who he is, right? And so the way we could show our views is to vote for who we want. But at the end, we must respect democracy and accept who does take power. So I really like the way he's pushing for people to get more informed right now. As you mentioned, you just learned this issue just now, and it's super nice to see that he's really just bringing about that awareness to people. And now kind of diving deeper into the actual topic of the temples, right? So what's really happening now is a lot of these temples, as he says, it's not really just even a place of worship, it's an energy place, right? So when you go to the temple, as he says, you don't have to even pray. It's just a place to get that positive vibration from.
Exactly.
Just sit, get immersed. And so in order for that to happen though, as he says, you need to have the temple structured in a certain way, have rituals processed in a certain way. And so every single aspect of that temple has a reason. And so what's happening now, unfortunately, is that the government of India, whichever state is taking over the temples, and they're repainting the walls and doing all sorts of things without knowing how to actually maintain the temple, not at the physical level, but the deeper energy level. And so what he basically recommends at the end is to leave it in the hands of the devotees. And if you look at it, before the government formed, thousands of years ago, all of our ancestors were taking care of these because they're the devotees. And so to kind of just keep it simple, I really want to appreciate him for taking these efforts, taking the time, energy to really do this great thing. Would also love to hear your opinion on this topic and matter, and I would love to keep it open-ended, so if you have any specific views on this issue, you can comment down below. With that, make it a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome.
Yay!
Be great.